Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Topper Talks on our channel Mind that is mentoring in new directions. I'm Kinjal and I was a CUET 2022 national topper, and we have today with us Aanvi, a very stellar individual, my junior at SRCC, and she'll introduce herself as well. So Aanvi,
Hi guys, I am Aanvi Gupta. I am currently first year BCom honors student pursuing from SRCC, and I am a perfect 800 on 800 scorer in and yeah, that's it.
it's great. Aanvi, you are an inspiration to many your juniors out there, many students out there. That's great. So Aanvi, how did you started preparing for CUET because many people are giving their half yearlies now. So there is a kind of gap between while preparing for your boards while preparing for the CUET. So there is a certain kind of gap. So how do you kickstart that preparation?
Well, when we are comparing like boards with CUET, one thing that I basically find in common is concept clarity. Like there needs to be concept clarity. If all your concepts are clear, I think then you are good to go. It's just the difference. Let's take an example of DST. It's a theoretical subject. So while working for that from the board's point of view, obviously you are working like how to write it, and you are more of a written requirement. Well, as you're comparing it with CUET, there you don't really need to mug up as much. It's more that how clear your concepts are and how you're able to attempt the questions.
Okay, so basically your key to in CUET or start preparation is conceptual clarity and how to do questions, right? So and it would be great if you can share your subject by strategy as well.
Well, the most important strategy that I feel while cracking CUET is the way that you attempt your MCQs. The trick that worked for me is using elimination and not selection. I think which has been taught to almost every child while preparing for any such competitive exam. That obviously, like there are four options. So instead of choosing an option or selecting an option, you should work on eliminating. Like when there are four options for you, mostly there are two options who are but obvious and get eliminated easily. It's mostly the difficulty that the student faces. It is between two options. You need to be sure which one you need to eliminate, because there are many times when we get overconfident or just end up selecting the wrong answer even if we are aware about it. So yeah, I believe that you should work on elimination is what I believe is the most important strategy while cracking CUET.
Okay. That is great. And you might have also faced the problem of scoring good in accountancy and maths because these are subjects which are which require a lot of practice and stuff. Any one master strategy to ace these subjects?
The one strategy that I would say that I did was obviously practice as many questions as you can. Like, as they say, practice is the key. Like, just do as many previous year questions, solve all the back questions that are there in your books. Like for accountancy, I was just using my basic TS Grewal books, and for mathematics also, I think you can just use NCRT and prepare by previous year questions. And something that I would recommend to other students will be that while you're practicing, write the most important formulas on one page, kind of like a cheat sheet. And while just before the exam, just go through that cheat sheet of formulas once. I think that will be the best strategy for you.
Okay. So Anvi, there is a recent trend in students. They have been focusing more on refreshers than NCRTs. They think like refreshers are many like more helpful than NCRT. So what's your take on that? Like, is NCRT really resourceful or refreshers?
To be honest, for me, it depends from subject to subject. There were a few subjects in which I was solely focusing on NCRT, while for others, I did not even open the NCRT book throughout my class 12th or even for CUET. Like let's say for maths, I think NCRT is good enough. Then for accountancy, obviously TS Grewal should be your sole. For economics, I would recommend using Sandeep Garg. For business studies, I think Subhashte can be used because all the points are marked in it and it's based on NCRT. If you don't want to buy Subhashde, then you can follow NCRT also business studies. But for me, at least, Subhashde work pretty well. And then for English, I think you should watch YouTube videos or just follow and just do previous year questions is what I feel. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. So, Anvi, there is one more doubt because mugging up theory is, a really big task in in a big exam like CUET, right? We have a lot of course to cover. We have our, general test also, English also. So how do you manage that? With domains, how can like one prepare for maths, general test, and English simultaneously? What are your strategies for the same?
Yes. What I think is like as boards are obviously before CUET, like you get done with your boards by like March or April. So I think while preparing for boards, the students are prepared good enough even for CUET. So instead of focusing on domain subjects, the time or the gap that you have between the boards and CUET, students should more focus on obviously general test. If you are targeting, a program like BMS or BBFI or any new program which requires general test, then English is what something is difficult different or difficult, because I don't think English is the same as that you have in your domain as you have in your board. So you should obviously focus on English, and then you can work for your maths or accountancy, whichever you feel is your subject that you need more work on. While if you're talking about theoretical subjects like economics or business studies, I don't think a student needs to give as much time to it, because as I mentioned, in a theoretical paper you are required to mug it up, while for something like CUET, even if you have concept clarity for those subjects, it is good enough.
Okay. So Anvi, next learning of things after mugging up the theory, after practicing, there comes the most important part, doing mocks. People, what's according to you, what is the importance of mocks in the preparation? How can one, excel that? And also, while doing mocks, people get disheartened by their scores. So how do you deal with that?
Okay, first of all, don't get disheartened by mocks. I'll give you my example. I gave a mock a day just before my maths exam for my CUET maths exam. I was supposed to like attempt, I think, 40 questions out of 50, and I barely knew 20 questions in that. And I was so disheartened and so scared. I was just crying that day that I don't think I'll be able to do anything. And trust me, I got a full 200 on 200 on my maths the next day. So just don't get scared by these mocks that are in the markets. They're just there to scare you. Prepare by mocks, because you should more focus on the previous year questions, because they are not like the mocks. Mocks are just strategies of different companies to scare you, and so that you feel scared. But but obviously, if you are doing previous year questions, that will be more helpful, because when I did last year's CUET, I was surprised like, wow, this is quite easy as compared to mocks. But mocks also comes in handy if a person is very overconfident, then that person gets to know their level. The most important thing about mocks is that you can get to know where exactly you stand, what are your weak points, and what you need to work on.
Okay, that's great. Also, Anvi, one more question regarding mocks. Like, how do right now people are preparing for both. So, what we have suggested to them is buy some MCQ books for practice. So, did you solve any MCQ books or did you solve only mocks?
I did not really solve any MCQ books, but if like I did not really personally have any time left to solve those books. But what I would recommend the my juniors, that it will be helpful for you if you solve such books, because you won't be as stressed as I was at my time, or your schedule won't be as hectic. So I believe if you're preparing from right now, then obviously go for mocks and the MCQ books.
So, Anvi, how did you prepare like for CUT? Like through coaching, self studies, or what were the resources you used for your preparation?
Okay, so I did have coaching for my GT, general test and English vocabulary. Then I had coaching for my maths domain, and I think which really helped me, because there were many parts of the syllabus that were not tested in our CBSE boards exam, but were a part of the CUET exam. So I think if you feel you need help, you need external help, then you should totally go for it. But if you can't really find any help, then obviously YouTube is there for rescue. For accountancy, personally, I was just watching YouTube videos, and let's say cash flow, had no idea what cash flow was happening in my class, to be honest. I just went to YouTube, and it was my savior. And while all these external helps help a lot, but the most important thing is self study, obviously, because all these external teachers are not going to go and sit in the exams for you. It's you who are going to do it. So just give time for your self study as well, because it is the most important.
Okay, so catering to the point of self-study, like what's your ideal time? Or I know all toppers say like quality is better than quantity, but still, decent time for students to maintain a regular pace while maintaining their boards.
I can't really say because my schedule is something that I don't recommend. I was studying till 5 in the morning and then I went to sleep at 9, woke up again. I had a really, really hectic schedule because I personally did not really prepare for CUT throughout the year. It was, or boards even, it was just, the last months. But but what I would recommend to students, don't count the hours, make to-do lists, what you want to achieve in a day. There are many apps, like I also used apps, like you can use Momentum. That's a really great app for making to-do lists, and you can have your daily targets that you can achieve. So I don't think you should have a time as a target, but the amount of topics or the amount of subjects that you want to cover. And also, I feel that each student has different time when they feel that they can study well. For someone it might be like they are an early bird, someone can be a sleepy owl, some people like to study at both the times. Just try to find the time that is perfect for you. Like for personally me, I was a night owl. I like to study late at night because I felt that was the time when there was peace, and there was no disturbances, because when you're at home, there are lots of disturbances. So I feel just try to find your perfect time.
Okay, that's great. So we have talked a lot about CUET, but Anvi, boards also play a very, very significant role while deciding a merit list, while simulated ranks list. So one tip, like one, brahmastra for boards as well.
For boards, just as I mentioned, concept clarity is the key. Just have your concepts clear, and also presentation really matters in your theoretical subjects. What I would recommend, if you're talking about boards, if you're talking about business studies or economics or any other theoretical subject, presentation is the key. Write your answers in points, as it is mentioned by all the teachers. I'll also say the same thing. Write all your answers in points, have good headings, and yeah, make flow charts, make diagrams. I think that is something that the invigilator is more focused on, because they have so many papers to check. Obviously they're not going to read your content, they're going to be more focused on your presentation. So I think that's what you should be more focused on. And if you're talking about accountancy or mathematics, solve as many questions as you can. I think that's what best you can do.
Okay. So Anvi, that was a great interview. So one last message for your juniors, because many people see you as an inspiration for their journey. So one last message for them.
Okay, so first of all, don't take stress. It's not as difficult as you think. I was also scared when I was at your position. I was crying each day, and I said to myself, "Mera South Campus ho jaye, wohi badi baat hai." Right now, I'm here sitting in Asia's #1 commerce college. I am a part of SRCC, and that too with a perfect score. If I could do it, you can do it too. Just be confident in yourself and prepare as well as you can. And even if you're not able to get your dream college, then you just don't be disheartened. You just put your best efforts, and that's what matters in the end of the day.
That was a great message, Anvi. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much.